Be seated, thank you. And I will call the meeting. Hey, Reverend Cox. Hey, I beat you to the punch. I thought maybe you wasn't going to come. Would you like to come back up and bless us again?
I'm fine. I'm
I
a working
can't do
man
as
though.
good as you can do now, but
No, it's all right. Y'all don't know.
all right. Well, I was concerned maybe we tried to start it right at 5:30. We should probably didn't give you enough time. I'm sorry. I
You did,
apologize.
but that's all right.
We'll get you back, okay? We'll get you back for that, but we're glad to have you with us. Appreciate that. Okay, meeting's called to order, and we'll ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Hooper.
Present.
Councilmember Burks Frazier.
Here.
Councilmember Henderson. Here. Councilmember Tolfree. Councilmember Mosley.
Here.
Councilmember Atkins.
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum. We did hear from Councilmember Toll-Free. Apparently he ended up with some kind of doctor's appointment or hospital appointment or something today that he wasn't able to get back from, if we understand correctly. He did call us and let us know, so I just want to let y'all know that. But we'll proceed. The first item of business, as always, take care of the minutes of the last meeting, May 12th, 2025.
May 12th, 2025, as emailed and received by hard copy.
Second.
That motion's made, Councilmember Henderson, seconded by Councilmember Mosley. Hopefully you've had time to look at it. Any question, discussion, or correction to the minutes of May the 12th? All in favor of approval, that'd be known by vote by hand, please. If you give me a vote by, and I see 5 in favor, 1 absent. Takes care of that. And then we will get into the city clerk's report, and she's got all of that there for you in writing. If you will look through your statement of revenues and expenditures, we'll give you a moment if you need to do that, if you hadn't had a chance to, and look at each department. I'm not going to go through all of it. I will tell you that, of course, this is through May of this year, so this is 5 months into the fiscal year. We're doing fairly well so far. Now, that's the good news. The not so good news is revenues are not substantially up. Matter of fact, there's still sales tax, as you'll see there in a minute, still a little bit down, not drastically, but so we're holding on revenue-wise, but of course, cost and expenses have not gone down, but we have, the department heads have done a really good job, in my opinion, of trying to keep the cost down. Now, I'm just looking over everything, glancing over it, but you can see what's been spent to date, what's left in the budget, and then, of course, the cash balances and all are listed there, and that's really your cash flow. There's one thing to look at the budget, there's another thing to look at the cash flow. You set a budget any way you want to, as y'all all know, just like we do at home, but if you don't have the money, sufficient money to pay it, that budget's not worth much. So, anyway, any question or anything on the finances? I'm going to just go ahead and then we'll act on the financial statement. You've got city and county sales tax. This is what we received during the month of May. Of course, that's usually about 2 months behind when it was generated. You've got city and county. You can see that. You've got the court. All that's just for your information, but I would need a
I
motion.
move that we approve the statement of revenue and expenditures as overview given by the mayor.
Second.
Got a motion, Councilmember Henderson, seconded by Councilmember Atkins, to approve the financial statement as stated and reported in written form. Question or discussion on anything? All in favor? Approval, show of hands, please. I see 5 in favor. Is that correct? Okay. Make sure I'm not skipping something. All right, thank y'all. Let me go briefly, and I promise you I'll try to make this brief because I got quite a bit of things I could report on, but I don't want to spend all the time here under the mayor's report. First item is our industrial prospect update. There are things happening rather rapidly. I will tell you that a week ago going back a little further, but until last week, I was extremely concerned about our prospect that we hope is going into the old poultry plant, the biochar facility. Things just didn't look like it was working very good. We were not getting good communication out of the company. We knew they were having some difficulty coming up with some additional financing that they needed to make the project go. Of course, they had reached a verbal agreement with ADFA about the building and the purchase and all that stuff some time ago. Of course, they've done a good bit of work out there. We also had some hang-ups with the guy that actually still owns the property, Mr. White, that had the poultry plant that went under. He moved to Alabama and got all of his taxes filed in Alabama, and they were trying to make him prove what his income was from that plant, and there was no income. Of course, he'd been going through it with auditors and lawyers, just a lot of things happening, and I was very concerned that tonight I'd have to tell y'all that I was concerned about this project. And while it's still not finished, I think it's on the verge of. We had a really good Zoom meeting, just I want the council to know all this. We had a Zoom meeting Wednesday or Thursday of last week with ADFA, who's the big player in this thing, since they hold the note on it. The company itself, the president of the company, Blue Sky Carbon, ADFA's attorney, myself. They invited me to sit in on it, even though we don't really have any, money in it or ownership of it, but nevertheless had me in it, and they told us, the company, that they anticipate being open within 2 months with the first line. They got their finances secured. Now, still, they got to close the deal officially with ADFA, okay? But everything looks, and everybody seemed to be pleased. They had a good, full discussion of what the holdups had been and why and what was going on and how everything had to be done to, get the names on the paper and get them operating out there. They are still talking about 25 new jobs once they get that unit operating. They're going to change up how they're going to do their expansion after they get operating. Is they're going to probably put in an American-made unit. Got to understand, a lot of this stuff parts comes from China, and this tariff business had thrown them a big curveball. They thought they were going under on the whole thing because they couldn't even get what they wanted to finish up the construction. But that seems to have gotten worked out with, going a different route with different financiers and they're, instead of putting 2 more units in, they're going to put 1 more unit in that'll do what 2 of them will do. Same capacity, just 1 more unit, which should add probably another 20 jobs or so. But that's going to be a while. That may even be after the first of the year. We got to get the first one going first and get that thing operating and profitable. So that's where we are on that. I also want to tell you that as far as the purchase of the industrial land, that we should be, by next week, be in a position to, everything to be finalized. The owner of that property's already signed the agreement with the BCEDC, but BCEDC's got to close, just like closing a loan with a bank with ADFA. And of course, our lease agreement has to be, included. And I think we finally got that to satisfy all the parties, because even ADFA wanted to know what that lease was going to say before they would authorize the loan. So I think we should be ready to see them close on that loan hopefully next week, if everything stays on schedule. I will tell you, additionally, without dragging this out any further, there still is another company taking a look at the original land that the BCDC already owns out there, the so-called Greg's properties, what people refer to it. But BCEDC owns that, as y'all know. And there's another totally separate company, has nothing to do with any of these other things, that looking to basically make chips for fuel all over the country and the world. This would be a much bigger project than even the biochar deal as far as investment and jobs and all that. It is not finalized, but that company is still trying to put all their projects together and still tell us that they're interested in coming here. They're building another plant in another state. They want to get that finished, and apparently they're very close to it, and they want to come here. So we're hopeful. No guarantees, just telling you we're working on it. We're talking to these people every day on both of these things. Other thing I wanted to ask is, all council members, did you get your invitation to the warehouse groundbreaking, warehouser groundbreaking over in Drew County? And
Yes.
have you responded to it, or if you're gonna attend, you need to respond to it, or let Charlotte know, and she'll be glad to respond for you. That's gonna be on Wednesday, I think today the municipal week starts, but it's in the morning, so anybody that can attend that, obviously that's gonna be a massive project. My understanding is there will be no tax exempt financing, therefore, I'm gonna tell you, Warren's gonna get, and Bradley County, no tax money out of anything. But our people are gonna have access to 200 new jobs. And I hope a lot of our folks will take advantage of that. And then, of course, we're looking at some other things, like some housing development that might be beneficial in the community, private development type things. So that project is going forward, and I still believe, a little disappointed in the tax situation, but if it creates 200 jobs, basically for Bradley County and Drew County and the surrounding area, if our people don't take advantage of it, it's their own fault. Because there's going to be good paying jobs out there. So I just want to make that aware. They're breaking ground. We're probably roughly 2 years away on the plant being built. This is a $750 million project. Okay? This ain't no little bitty thing. This is a big deal. Drew County and the Drew Central School District are going to be the main beneficiaries of the taxes. We were originally told they would do tax exempt financing, which would give a chance for a payment in lieu of taxes, and we'd get, for the next 30 years, I hoped we would get some of that, but that's not the way they're going to do it, and we don't have any say-so about that. That's the company. Now they see fit to finance it. Can I answer any questions that I can't answer publicly? That's what's going on. We got a lot of stuff pending still. Some of it's just not there yet, but I think we're close. But I do want y'all updated and informed. I do encourage everybody that can to come to the groundbreaking. We want to get in good with this company because, they'll be right here at our back door. You can throw a rock and hit it as easily from the middle of Warren as you can the middle of Monticello as far as distance is concerned. But geographically, it will be in Drew County, and that's just the way it is. Private sector project. Okay? Now, the last thing, and there's no questions, I have two things. I want to update y'all on several grants we're working on. One of them we're going to talk about a little bit later on the agenda. We have found a possible grant for the Cultural Center. It's an 80-20 match, but even some of the match can be done in kind, so we might be able to get some help on that. I don't know, because most of this is going to be construction trade stuff. I'm talking about heating and air units and roofs and stuff like that. Our estimate on putting that project together to where it would be a suitable, decent, usable facility is about $700,000 to $800,000. That's an estimate we came up with a few months back. So with the way prices continue to go up sometime, especially on construction, I can't guarantee you that, but we're gonna try to get about $800,000. And then we'll just figure out what we can do, you know, if we get it, we'll have to come up with whatever we can do on the financing. I'll be coming back to you some stuff on the match part I'm talking about, which would be somewhere in the range of $160,000. If we got the grant. Well, I thought I had her turned off, but she still answered me. She said she didn't get that. Y'all didn't hear what she said, so I wasn't talking to her anyway. But I want you to know that. We also, of course, are making another application for, help me, Councilmember Burks Frazier, about $150,000 or so on the pool, isn't it, I believe, the city pool. Now, in the meantime, and I'll let her give a report a little bit later on the agenda about the status right now of the pool, so everybody knows. It is gonna open and run this year, but I'll let her give you a little bit more of an update. They're about ready to open it. We have band-aided it and scotch taped it and done everything we can do and have passed the health department's okay to run it. But we still need to get that grant, do the real major overhaul to it. Okay. So I wanted to mention that, and then I'm also looking at some other grants for some more street money. We got that pending. Council members, you'll remember that we got a $300,000, well, we thought it was going to be $400,000. We ended up with $300,000, but enough money to do $300,000 worth of work. Highway Department hadn't released that yet. You know, they put it off for about 6 months. We got the money according to what they're telling us. We're waiting on them to tell us when we can proceed. Because they bid it out and everything, not us. But they just gonna come in and say, all right, now you can go do the work. That was already approved by the council and everything. But we're applying for another round of it. That's what we're working on right now. See if we can get another $300,000-$400,000, because as y'all know, the amount of money we get in our regular city budget for streets is just not that much anymore based on the cost of asphalt and all the work. I mean, what you used to do several blocks for, you can do a half a block for. I mean, it's just that bad. So the cost of asphalt and everything. So we're trying to get more money to help us on that. So that's the grant, and then I also have got a grant we found. I'd like to make some changes in this our setup in here. This is not a courtroom anymore. It's a city council chamber, but we're still kind of living in a courtroom setup. And if we can come up with a grant to maybe make a few changes, we'll have to bring all this back to y'all for approval and everything. But we are looking for some grant money on that and anything else we can find. Last thing is the personnel policy, which some months back y'all put some new recommendations, some changes, some amendments, and just it was all reviewed over a number of months by the Ways and Means Committee, which is the sort of the personnel committee as well. But we're getting copies. We finally have got it all put together the way y'all approved it. We're going to, make copies so all the department heads, employees can have a copy, and certainly y'all can have a copy to just be knowledgeable of it. I understand maybe there's some other things that maybe the committee would like to look at, which can be done anytime. That can be done anytime. So I'm going to ask y'all to just, and I don't think you got to vote on it, just let me just refer that issue, the personnel policy issue, back to the Ways and Means Committee to look at some additional items that probably were not dealt with back when we originally did it, or things they found since then.
Things that were silent in the manual.
Yes, ma'am. There's certain things that don't even address. I mean, you're going to find that anytime you have a personnel policy, you're just going to constantly run into something that, just wasn't thought of at the time. And so any objection to that, me assigning that back to the Ways and Means Committee so they can But we're gonna go on with what we've done, okay? With what we've already approved, but let them take a look at anything else they wanna change, amend, add, whatever. Everybody okay with that? Okay. Without objection, we're gonna do that. And that wraps my part of the council meeting up as far as reports are concerned. If y'all got any questions, feel free to ask. And you don't have to be at this meeting. Call me up, come see me, send for me, I'll come see you, whatever. Try to answer any questions on anything that you've got that we're working on right now. Okay, council members, any of you have anybody you need to recognize right now for public comment? Do we have anybody signed in? All right, this is just the sign-in portion. Miss Janice Rochelle.
Yes, Mary, I was just concerned about the swimming pool, but I'll wait till I hear Memory's report of the status of the pool.
Okay,
And I have
if you
pictures.
want to make any comments, you're welcome to do so, but the pool's about to be open, just to answer your question. What day are you going to answer?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, this week, it'll be open.
Okay, well, I still have some concern about all the grass that's up against the fence and who's responsible for cutting it.
The city of Warren.
On the backside,
Right before you get to the pool, all up against the fence row, it's just grass everywhere. I have pictures if you'd like to see them. It doesn't look presentable for anybody even to go in that area, if you'd like to see the
yeah,
pictures.
I'm not clear on where, and look,
May I?
I
May I?
Yeah, go ahead. Show it to 'em. This may be on somebody else's property,
it might be,
because I'm not aware we got any.
Right by the building that's on this
okay,
side.
she's talking about where the recycling center was gonna go. Like along that fence, like right
Okay.
behind the restaurant.
Okay.
No.
Is it on our side of the fence?
Yes, sir.
Well, then we just think we need to get out there and clean it up.
It is,
Yes.
yeah. And that, like, this is because it's rained so much,
Okay.
that right there, but it's cut, they mow it up until where they can't.
Okay, and there's also a pile of rubbish back in that far corner that needs to be cleaned up. Yeah, that's what's missing. Yeah. it's-
But we'll certainly get out there if
Yeah.
it's on our
That's
property.
up there
we'll get
behind that old fish restaurant, like
But
along that fence road.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
thank you.
Thank you.
all right. Thank you. We'll look at that, see what we need to do. We need to do some more cleanup. Okay, that's all I have. It's just one person that signed in, so we'll proceed on. Administrative standing committee reports, police chief. He was out there a while ago. There he is. Chief, they got your written report, but go ahead.
Good evening. Mayor, thank you. I guess you guys do have my report for the, gonna work for the Warren Police Department for May of 2025. I do want to make one correction on here. We sent these reports out, disseminated them in the middle of the week last week, and the late last week, found out that where it says we have one vehicle out of commission, make that 3. We had a couple accidents, one vehicle struck a deer, another struck a pothole or something, another street went up to the lane. So right now we got 3 vehicles that we need to repair. I discussed that with the mayor tomorrow, because at our weekly meeting, because one of the repairs, or a couple of them are pretty pricey. So we'll be getting that report to you guys, see what's going on from there. Other than that, everything else is pretty accurate as far as our activities for the month. We're still kind of short on personnel, but luckily we have 4 or 5 part-time guys that are helping us out. They want to help us out during the Big Tomato Festival, so it won't be as bad as it looks on, as the numbers look. But we are actively trying to seek more individuals to get some more certified officers to come work for us. But right now, you see what the numbers are, how many we are short.
Anybody got a question for the chief? We're doing the best we can on personnel. If I'm talking to other towns, a lot of them face the same thing, but we seem to be getting hit double whammy with it. Combination of reasons. Sometimes it's paid. Sometimes it's just I'm tired of being a policeman because I'm tired of being treated like I'm treated by the public. Quite frankly, that is an issue in some ways. You know, some of it's just getting out of police work. Chief, if I say something wrong, you correct me, because we talk about this every week. State police has jacked their salaries up substantially. And you can go to work for the state police, of course, if you qualify and all, and they like to sometimes get people that are already certified, just working for cities and counties. You can start to work for them for $70,000 a year.
And it's going up July 1
Yeah.
with the new.
And I assure y'all, we don't pay that much, even though y'all have put y'all raised the salaries over the last few years. You tried to,
We were competitive, very
Right.
competitive.
and I think we still are to some degree with most of the towns. Now, there might be a
With
few
the
exceptions,
cities, yes.
but that's just irrelevant to the other problems that we're facing and the fact that they can go other places and make a whole lot more money.
If I can say this to the council, when we got competitive with them, if you recall, that's the time we got up to full staff. And so then we ever stayed to full staff for a little while, and then like I said, the departments was like, okay, well, we have to raise ours, so they kind of knocked us out of competitive for it. But when we were competitive, that's when the time period we were at full staff. That's just something to consider.
We've got to come up with some solution somewhere down the line to get more people. I want qualified people. That's one thing. You can't everybody can't be a police officer, just to be honest with you. And then, of course, you got to be certified within a certain period of time, which means how many weeks at the police academy?
13 weeks.
13 weeks, and you got to pass too. You don't just get a certificate for attending. You gotta pass, and they put you through the ringer over there, physically, mentally, firearms usage, all kinds of stuff. So this is just not, you don't just go out there and I think this guy would be a good police officer, let's hire him. I mean, you still got to go through all that. They got to pass it all before we can put them out there at least by themselves. I mean, we'll work them a little bit while they're waiting to go to the academy, but they always got to be with somebody, and we have to be very careful because I can tell you from experience, it don't take much to get sued.
I'd like to also give an update on the flock cameras, Mayor, if I may.
Go ahead.
Last time I spoke to the flock camera people, I did a survey for them today. They were looking at late June as far as coming and start installing our cameras. So they're still on that same timeline, I understand, so hopefully we'll be getting that started, get the Peak Tomato Festival out the way, then hopefully next week they'll come with those cameras, start getting those put up. So, the timeline on that was late June.
And there's 3 of those we're having, or 2?
5.
5 at a flock, okay, I'm sorry, I'm off base there. Now, this is the ones we have to pay for on an annual basis. We basically lease them
But it's worth
from
it.
the company, but they are excellent cameras. If you go through one of those intersections where one of them cameras are, and it will have your car tagged and know what your license plate is. And it reads it that good. So this is gonna be a good thing for us. I still think we need more cameras too, just visual stuff around town, but this is a good start for us here. Questions for the chief on anything? Still working speeding where we're getting the complaints?
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
I had 2 people in my office last week. One of them was mad because we're not writing enough speeding tickets, and the other one was mad because we were writing speeding tickets. So, I don't think that shocks anybody, but I just thought I'd pass that on. But anyway, we are trying to work the speeding issues, and we have them. We have them. Okay. Questions for the chief, and we'll move on. Police committee, you did not, there's no business
We
there.
didn't, but I wanna say this, went to Kansas turkey hunting. All of our stuff was stolen out of our truck. That was found the next day using their flock cameras.
Really? Terrific.
It sure was. We went in and they had every bit of and they said, we didn't even get the hotel video. We found it strictly by they had 21 flock cameras, but it was a town of 21,000, so it was quite a bit bigger. But they said
That's
strictly,
still a bunch of them.
and they didn't know that I knew what flock cameras was, and I said, isn't that a funny story? Let me tell you. And they were like, they use it, their detectives use it, and they found every bit about, and it was that they were responsible for 5 break-ins, all using the flock cameras.
Great
So,
story.
I'm excited
Glad
to-
hear it. Sorry that happened to you, but that's certainly
Got it
good.
back, and they were
good
like,
information.
they said, we'll call you if you need to come back and testify. I said, 9 hours, let's utilize Zoom. But anyway, it was flock cameras that found it, so.
Terrific.
Yeah, they have an impressive reputation.
Well, I think we're going in the right direction with what we're trying to do, council members, and I appreciate that. Okay, is that all you want to add?
Yes, sir, that's it.
All right, thanks, chief. Let's get the fire chief in here, give his monthly report. We do not have anything from the fire committee, so go ahead, chief.
Good evening. For the month of May, we had 5 total calls for the month. 1 vehicle fire was toned out. Had our monthly meeting on May the 5th with 23 members present.
Okay. All right, that's that sheet right there you're talking about, and then there's another one on the insurance. It looks like we got about 6 or 7, and it all says Kendall, so this is where we're trying to collect money from the insurance companies that was covering the property that burned. Some of them make payments, as y'all know, and some of them don't. Not every insurance company does that. Not every insurance policy is the same, but for the ones that do, we're trying to collect that money.
Some people don't have any at all.
Yeah. Questions for the fire chief? All right, let's turn to pay. Chief, I guess that gets it unless there's something else there. Sanitation manager, Mr. Johnson, coming up. They've got your report too, but anything you want to go over?
No, sir, but I'll be glad to answer any questions.
What is going in over across from Willie's?
Truck stop.
It's really true.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that was rezoned,
Yeah, it was rezoned,
Some time
and I had
ago,
heard
yeah.
a truck stop, and it looked like it's going to be one, but then someone said, in one? And I said, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
yeah, you know, it's legal for us to have truck stops too, just like everybody else. Somebody wants to invest in one, that's what they're doing. It's a private deal.
We get some revenue from that.
I hope so. You betcha.
We're one driver short and we're one, part-time thrower short in the sanitation department. Y'all know of anybody we are advertising? But right now, we're currently 2 short.
All right, it gives you all the stats there for we still trying to pick up litter on some streets. That's a ever non-ending issue. I'm gonna just tell y'all that. I don't know what to say or even do about it. I've told y'all this probably for months, but I'm gonna keep saying it because I want the public to hear it. We can clean up some streets, and in 24 to 48 hours is as much litter. I'm not about litter, paper and Coke bottles and cans and everything, and a few other kinds of cans and stuff too occasionally. But it's just litter. And
It's, the same thing happens with private individuals
I
that
know.
clean up their streets.
I know it.
Right back.
I have to pretty regular clean up front of my house and the side of my house. Same thing, not as bad as some of the streets, but certainly have it. You notice they picked up 32 individual houses for limbs and, Rob, if I say something wrong, tell me that I'm reading off of this. We picked up junk, now this was stuff that was called in, that was put out for us. 27 houses, this is all during the month of May. We've got 5 properties cleaned up that we've just been working on. It's not something y'all condemned or anything, things we're working on. And here's just in a minute, we're gonna talk about 2 more that we need you to take action on. I'll let Rob brief you on that when we get there. Just any questions on this general report?
And just to let y'all know, the new garbage cans, the 90 gallons, are still scheduled for September. So we're on track for that.
We don't have anything on the sanitation committee, but Councilmember Atkins, I am gonna ask if you would, to maybe have a meeting before the next council meeting in July, we do need to brief y'all and update y'all on some things, especially in our preparation for the one pickup a week for the residential, which, you know, will start happening once we get those containers in. And all the research that Rob continues to do on trying to figure out the, you know, routes and what we need to do. It's still, we're gonna save some money. And I'm gonna give Rob a little bit of credit here. All the department heads have done good. If you look at his budget, just what was budgeted for this year, and that didn't have anything to do with the increase in revenue, just the budget. He's done a remarkable job of getting that budget down in costs. There's a number of ways he's done it, but we're trying to lower our cost as much as we can. We're going to continue to do that with some of the decisions y'all already approved that we'll be implementing once we can get there. And of course, expanding our recycling operation. So if you got any comments you want to make on that, I'm gonna publicly commend you, and that don't mean that you're any better than other department heads, but you are working it, and I wanna, and his department just costs a lot of money to run. Picking up garbage is expensive and disposing of it. Okay? All right, thank you, Councilmember Atkins. If you'll keep that in mind, we'd like to get with you and talk about some other things for the future. All right, then we've got the, actually the sanitation report. We've kind of given that too, along with the, well, the building official, I'm sorry, item G, building official, we got the monthly report on that. That's how many permits have been issued, electrical, plumbing, everybody see that? You should have a copy of that here. And the value of the work being done.
If you'll look at that just a second, you'll see some of the numbers are extremely higher than they were this time last year, especially the evaluation of the stuff that's been into town due to different projects and everything. If you'll see, we had 33,000 at this time last year. We got 724,000 this year due to construction and permits throughout the city.
And this is commercial and residential,
Right.
or,
Yes, sir.
although I'm going to bet a lot of it's
Yes, sir.
Commercial.
Which produced for the city a little over $8,000 worth of permit fees. And that's just in the building part, so. And the building part's the spot, we also charge a building permit fee on if anybody gets installed in solar. That's used as a project. You'll see a couple of these billboards going up. You'll see a new one going up on the corner of Martin and Central. That's also a permit fee there. That's a $55,000 project. You'll see it. The one in the mill yard going south on Martin, before you cross the overpass, there's a billboard there. That was a $47,000 billboard. We're getting a $55,000 one there at Pops Car Wash. So, and they started it today, and it was approved last month by my office and the state. So, that's where some of your revenue's coming from. Just to let you know, if you see one pop up, you may want to advertise on it.
All right, questions for Rob on any of the permit business? That would bring us to item G2, new property cleanup complaints. Now, this is, I think you will find that back on his report dated May 25th. If you look at the bottom, this is the ones to consider for condemnation. Is that correct, Rob?
It was at the time this was printed, Mayor. Since then, I've talked with the owner, and we've come to an agreement on what he's gonna do. And he's furnishing me with a letter of intent on what he's gonna do, and he promises to go forward with the properties. He is a new owner of the property. I went through 3 since I started to condemn them. They've changed hands and keep selling. So this guy assures me that he's gonna upgrade and bring the neighborhood up a little bit, so.
Is this number 2 railroad, number 3 railroad?
Yes,
That's
sir.
what you're talking
Right,
about.
right.
So that's what he's referring to. So you're not asking for any action?
Not right
on
now,
those?
no, sir. Not-
Got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Now, if they don't proceed,
yeah, we're gonna.
we're gonna come back to you, okay?
Yeah, that's,
We're trying to give people a chance to cooperate. And some of them are beginning to, although it's a slow process sometimes, but some of them are beginning to. I don't know if y'all have noticed over on Martin and Wheeler Street, the corner of Martin and Wheeler Street, That property has been cleaned up slick. It took forever, but it's finally getting done. We've got a piece of property, I'm just giving y'all kind of a throw out here, but I want the people to know we're working on these things. North Martin Street, there's one particular resident that became the dumping ground of a tree trimmer. And he was just dumping trees, and I mean big stuff. I'm not talking about just a little brush. It's been in a mess. He's finally came back from a rather distant trip, apparently, and he has promised Rob that it'll be cleaned up before this week's over. Now, hopefully he will do what he says. If not, we're going to have to take some action, because we're going to have to put a stop to this. And logging contractors, tree trimmers, using residential property for their operations. Junk equipment, doing, a lot of them doing repair work on their log trucks and stuff. That's illegal. But, you know, we're trying to work with them, and some of them been at it a long time. And we're trying to, you know, give them time to make changes and do what they gotta do. Any questions for Rob? Give them an update on the, what I've come to call the big four that they've already condemned. Give them a brief update on each one.
The one, I don't have the address right in front of me, Rock Street, the guy has done some cleanup. Phillip Street, there's been some progress done. Southern Court, there's been some progress done. And up here at Pennisterville, there's been some progress done there too. Everybody has done something. Everybody's still in violation, but everybody is done something. That's all I can say.
We are trying to help on several of them where they've just got junk and limbs or whatever the case may be. If they get the stuff out near the street, we are even helping some of them by going in with our boom truck and just picking it up like we do regular garbage that people would call in, class 4 garbage. We're doing everything we can to help. Now, if it's back there in their backyard piled up sky high, we cannot go on the private property until it's been condemned. Now, these 4 have been. But we're getting enough response out of them that we've held off on issuing any of those 4 citations. We just administratively have done that. Y'all tell me to go ahead and do it, I'll go ahead and do it, because you've given me the authority. But we went back to every one of them and said, look, we're going to issue these citations if you don't do this. And some of them had already started a little, they do a little bit, and they quit. You know, and it drags out, and we've had a couple of cases where they do a little bit, and more stuff starts showing up. I mean, so, you know, we've had to just deal with each one of them individually, but we are going to stay on to keep working it, and ultimately, if they don't do everything they're supposed to, we are going to issue the citations, but we're trying to give them every chance to do it and help where we can. Some of these people don't have a lot of resources, a lot of, you know, so it's different things. And we're just trying to do our best. But we're going to get them cleaned up one way or the other, unless y'all tell me to stop. I don't think anybody's telling me that, but I'm just saying we're going to keep working it. Anything else for Rob? All right, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Street foreman.
Good evening. Well, it's made a fussful time again, so we've been busy cleaning up, trying to dress everything up as much as we can. We're doing a lot of bush hogging, picking up paper, patching up holes, spraying, spraying flowers and weeds, and trying to make everything look better anyway. That's what my crew's been up to here lately.
We are still, you know, when we get a complaint, a lot of work he's talking about right now is obviously in the downtown area for the tomato festival right now, but it's not the only place, you know, we're working. We got so many ditches, public ditches in town, where a lot of of people mow the ditches, you know, it's in front of their house, they just don't want the grass getting up there, and they mow it. A lot of people do that. Even houses that are on streets with curb and gutter, you know, a lot of that have been on the right of way. There's places there, it's technically the cities, but most people, most of the homeowners and businesses, you know, cut that to keep their place looking good. We got some that don't, and it gets head high.
If they don't maintain it, my fault is spray it. We cannot,
We're just killing it.
yeah,
Because we
cannot maintain it.
cannot go cut every ditch in town every week, this time of year especially when it's growing like it is. No way, we can't physically do it. So we're doing our bit, we got a lot more to do. We're not anywhere near through, but we're working on it. Questions for the street foreman on anything, and if we get complaints on anything else, drainage, potholes, whatever it may be, we're writing them up and we're trying to get to them and address them the best we can. So people that have a problem out there, of course y'all can certainly pass it on to us, but people can call us, just tell us where it is, address, the location. We will do our best as fast as we can to get out there and deal with it. Okay? Monty, stay put here for a minute. Street Committee, Councilmember Mosley.
Okay, we have guidelines and dedication of renaming the street, but we're still working on getting that worked out. We voted, and I'd like to make a motion
Just go right ahead.
that we put 2 speed bumps on North White Street. Basically, one each end. Well, I think the best way would be take the street, divide it into 3. So, we would like to.
That is a recommendation from the street committee. You're making that as a motion.
Yeah.
Second.
And it seconded, that Councilmember Atkins, okay. She seconded that motion. Now it's open for discussion by the council. Now, when she says at either end, that don't mean it's gonna be a street break right there. You know, we're gonna go a little ways into the street. And that's a long street, North Wright Street is, and I think that's why the committee decided it would be smarter to have one kind of each, about a third of the way each way to put them in. Any question, discussion? All in favor, approval of the motion, show of hands, please. I see 5 in favor. We will proceed. Go ahead.
Okay, we're studying the street drainage improvements in the corner of Kelly and Bragg. We're working on 2 or 3 different angles, not decided on anything yet. And we also are discussing a new road into the Washita hardwood flooring. That's still in discussion, nothing has been decided, but we are working on it.
No, you're actually looking at redoing the truck route to use a different existing city street to get in there is what, not a new road now,
No,
I mean.
not a new road. The road's already there. We're just looking at changing the truck route to go into the mill.
Have the
The
signs
sign,
up?
I thought I saw some signs, some new signs up.
They are some new
Yeah,
signs,
have they built any?
but we're still looking, we think there may be a better route yet.
Oh.
It's something we're just,
Other than-
they're looking at, but no, the current truck route is as it was, it's just, we marked it better.
Yes, very.
And I haven't had any complaints recently, and believe
I haven't
me.
seen as many
I
Uh,
trucks.
Well, I was gonna say, Councilmember Burke Frazier, you probably know better than anybody would.
Yeah, I haven't seen as many, like, or heard, as like, cause usually I can hear them stop,
Yeah.
and they sit there and you can hear that truck running, or they start backing up.
Well, they were tearing up yards and signs and light poles and having to sometimes get hung up, and couldn't even get.
They've been
Turned
stuck in my
around.
ditch several times.
So, Monty came up with the idea, which is a good one. There's a new sign, of course, we got no trucks on East Pine. That's where they were going anyway, because that's a short route to the plant. That never was legal, but they were doing it. But we got no trucks there, and then we got another sign that says, keep on going basically down Myrtle Street, which was the truck route. But it specifically says, if you're going to Washita or Townsend Hardwood, this is the way you go.
And they even put errors, I can't dumb it down, no question.
We got it about as clear as we can make it. And then when you get down here to Church Street, we show them where you got to turn back left. And then currently Ganaway Street is the route. That's what they're looking at, maybe making a change there. Council, y'all all know that I had been recommending that we look at trying to put a new road in from the bypass out there, where it wouldn't even have to come through town from the north. Problem we got there is there's a railroad track you gotta cross to get to that plant. And the highway department told me this, said, we don't think you can get a permit to cross that railroad track unless you built an overpass over it. So y'all can come up with, $7, $8, $10 million if we're gonna do that, which is not reasonable, not functional.
Do they realize they cross a railroad track?
Oh, yeah.
Break the law?
But this, any new crossing, they just not going. Now, you might could get a permit, but I was also told probably take 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And I've had enough dealings with the railroad folks to believe that. So, that's why we're looking at some other audit committee, some other audit. Anything else? Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, with the changes of the route to Washita, is Washita involved in this also?
They are very well aware of what all we're doing, have been from the beginning.
Because I'm, just thinking like, a lot of time, because I have been in route and had, in the truck driver, the GPS will take them wrong.
Oh, yeah, and that's what's been happening a lot.
It
Yeah,
does.
you're exactly right.
So, with a new route, would it be a new address, like, where Washita can give the truck drivers?
Well, they were already doing that.
Oh, they were already doing
But a lot of these guys, sometimes they're first time drivers coming in here, and they were just going where that GPS
It's
told
not
them to
an
go.
easy, if they get up in there, it's not an easy way, like getting those little narrow
But
right.
your point's well taken, and yes, they've been cooperating with us for some time, trying to get word to their people that are servicing them, bringing stuff in and carrying things out, to try to follow the correct route as it is right now. Some of them did it, some of them didn't. And they also know we're looking at options, and they're very supportive of trying to work with us if we can come up with something better, even than we got. Yes, ma'am, we have definitely talked with them. That's the Maxwell family, primarily that are involved with that. There's several owners. But yes, they are very cooperative with us. They're over there kind of isolated, in that site for that plant. But they work some people. There's really two different companies. They own both of them, but two different companies making different products over there. So I don't know, there's probably 50, 60 people at various times working over there in those two plants together. We don't want to, anyway, run them out of business or cause them any problem, but the folks that live in these neighborhoods deserve as much help as we can give them too. Keep those trucks from coming through there and tearing things up.
And the proposed route is the most sensible one that we can come up with, to get them out of there, to get the truck into the mill and to get them out of the neighborhood.
That's a good question, and I appreciate you bringing it up. That's, yeah, we are definitely talking with them and have been from the beginning. Anybody got any questions or comments from Mr. Hernsberger? I can assure you we understand we got a lot of streets that need to be improved. We understand that. That's becoming a money issue as much as anything. And we're going to do the best we can do. Of course, we got to do maintenance too. We got to keep doing that. Drainage repaired where we can and cleaned out, and just a lot of different things that we got to keep doing on a regular basis. Summer's the worst with the grass growing. Anything else? Your committee? Parks and Recreation. Thank you, Mike.
Good evening.
You too.
Yeah. And again, you've got a written report. Kyle, is there anything you need to pass on?
The only updates I have, we started, last week out at the shooting range, back to our full-time hours, Wednesday through Sunday, 1 to 5. We got fully staffed, so we're running back full operation out there. Like I said, me and Alderman Fraser met with the inspector Friday, this past Friday on the pool, and, we'll be opening up Wednesday there, so we're good to go there. And everything else, just trying to keep the grounds up and keep everything mowed and cleaned up. And I also received, all the chairs and the tables that was ordered for the armory and all them. We've got them stored in the armory, all the new white tables and chairs, so they all did come in. So,
And we can use them wherever
Wherever
we
you
need to
need
use
to.
them. We'll move them, if somebody needs some more,
just let us know.
like at the depot or something like that, we'll take care of moving them around, which just was easier to store them over there at the armory, a lot more room to do it.
We've got, several days with the depot and armor rented out here, in Tomato Week, so we'll be keeping them up clean and keep them going.
If you'll look at his report under the train depot and the armory, it is showing you for the month of May, how many uses were made of each place. I think you got the dates down there when they were used. And as far as May was concerned, everybody got their deposit back, which means they cleaned up satisfactory. Occasionally we've had some issues with that, but we're keeping up with that too. And once, of course, we get the, y'all want to come up with names of that new place down at City Park, by the way. I don't think we need to keep calling it the old shop. That's the way I refer to it. I think we need some other kind of name because it's turned into a fairly nice place. We still got to get it painted, and I know Councilmember Burt
That's
Frazier's
next.
gonna get that done.
Yep.
And, but we need to, we're gonna keep up, what I was gonna say was, we're gonna keep up with this usage too, once we get
Yes.
it functioning and everything, so y'all know that. Any questions for Kyle? Councilmember Burt Frazier, do you wanna say anything about the pool? You are the pool manager.
Well, no, I mean, it's ready. I wanna send a list of rules to you if you'll,
Sure.
get those on one of the biggest problems we have are young swimmers coming without parents, or brothers and sisters and siblings coming. And one of the rules we try to maintain is 8 and under have to have a parent or somebody 18, not a 10-year-old brother or sister or babysitter. And we do have lifeguards on duty, but it's still for safety reasons. At least 9 years old, they can come by, 9 and up, they can come by themselves. And swimming is not a requirement. They don't have to know how to swim, but we would like 8 and under to come with a parent or guardian or somebody that's responsible.
Okay.
But other than that, it's
What
still
are the hours?
Monday through Friday, right now, 1 to 5. And then depending on the uses, sometimes we will open up on a Saturday. We're not open on Sunday. But we hope everybody comes out and has fun.
Can you utilize it for parties?
Yeah, oh yes, sorry, so you can utilize it for parties, and we'll get that to the office to put that on the website as well.
Have we, I'm asking, because I'm trying to remember back, in the past, hadn't at some point in time, we offered some swimming lessons?
I do offer
Are
swimming
you
lessons.
still
Mhm.
gonna do that too? We
Yes.
need to know the specifics
Yeah.
of that, so we can also advertise
Yeah,
that.
and I'll give you that too, as well.
I think that's something we ought to do as much as we can.
Okay, but Kyle and I have worked, we have Band-Aided and pieced and, it's like, the health inspector just comes in and laughs. I mean, but saying that one more year, we got it, one more year, but we met with her, she came, Thursday and Friday, and we're passed, and, for one more year, we're ready.
That pool's been there a long time, it's had a lot of renovation and stuff done over the years, but it's, I've told y'all this before, I don't, this is a joke, I'm kind of saying this as a joke, but there's 2 things you don't want to be in charge of financially in city government. swimming pools or jails.
Right.
Cause they cost a fortune, they just suck money, but it's things you gotta have, you know, I'm not saying that, but
That pool
I'm
was
just
built,
telling you, you're gonna spend money and you're not gonna make any money.
a lot of the equipment is original to 1972 when the pool was built. And that's a good year, but.
Well, it was great years, year I graduated high school.
Year I was
That tells
born,
you how
baby.
old the thing is.
But anyway, we were gonna have, like I was telling you earlier, the state guy was gonna come, and he was gonna tell us if we had to do renovations, what needed to be changed, not needed, had to be changed. Because if we change one thing, then that opens it up, but right now, like, the health inspection, we're still grandfathered in. So we don't wanna make any changes until we have the money to make all the changes. Right, because once a swimming pool, if there was a summer or something that happened that we couldn't open, it is really hard to get it back once it's closed for an extended period of time. So many things can happen and go wrong, but we've done it again, so I'm excited.
Let me again, I'm in the commending business tonight, but I want to, Kyle and Councilmember Burks Frazier, they have done yeoman's work. I go out there and sneak up every once in a while to see what they're doing, but they've done yeoman's work on keeping that thing, as I say, scotch taped together.
Yes.
And the health department has been
They
more
see,
than kind and fair to us,
and they
helping us.
see all of it.
They know what we're doing, and I want to thank them publicly too. And it's not that they're letting us cut any corners
No,
or
sir.
anything like that, but they've just worked with us so we can keep it functioning.
One of the main things that we had to do this year was get a new drain cover, a Virginia Baker Vortex drain cover, so that nobody can get sucked down to the bottom. And so that was one thing that we had to get done this year. And it's not that it's that expensive, but it was just changing it out.
Yeah.
But that was one thing that she wasn't gonna let us open. So we don't get by with anything, but it's just one, and it was a small $100 change. But it's all for the best, the things that we.
Absolutely. Anybody got any questions? I do want to thank both of them because they have done an incredible job. Not just this year, for several
That's
years.
right.
This is my 25th year to do it.
But still,
Long time.
we're just at the point, we've got to get that grant money and really make some major improvements so that we're in a
And-
much better shape.
And it's $1 to swim.
Yeah, just $1.
And we want to keep it that way so everybody, and $1 to swim.
All right. Anything else for Kyle on any of our, anything?
Well, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
With the irrigation, and that's a revenue for us.
They do rent that, I am correct on that. Charlotte,
Yes,
the community action does rent it, yes.
but my question, are they gonna continue?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything. Charlotte, have you heard anything from
No.
them about any changes?
No, but this is their month to renew.
It's the time to renew it.
Mhm.
They're probably getting hammered with some,
Because the LIHEAP program has ended
yeah.
indefinitely.
You should know this one.
Yes, we'll know. And don't know for sure, but I heard that even community action is gonna end this year.
I wouldn't be stunned, I haven't heard that per se, but I wouldn't be stunned, and I'm gonna tell you something else. Your public housing authority may get hit. Your public housing authority may get hit. I don't know yet at this point, just, they have their,
And I know they utilize that our building for the
Yes, ma'am.
utilities and everything.
Exactly,
And that's, that's over.
yeah. It's getting tough and gonna get tougher. So I'm just telling you the fact, we'll have to see how things go. Now, we don't run we don't put any city general funds into the housing authority or anything like that. Now, the armory, obviously we do, we own that and have to pay the light bill and all the maintenance and everything else. Housing authority's an independent, operation, but they get a lot of HUD money to run there and subsidize their programs, and for the people that a lot of them that live there, it's all based on income, of course. And I've talked to Mr. Jolly several times about it. So far, and I think they're in decent financial shape as a local housing authority. Y'all watch the news, you see there's things happening in some of them, in some of the bigger cities. So what long-term, I just don't know. We're watching it, trying to pay attention, trying to be prepared. Of course, we also have the Section 8 program, which they run. That's for subsidies for privately owned rental property that people low income can, get some of the rent paid, basically what it amounts to. Mike's very concerned about that. He thinks that really may get nailed. And of course, in the past, they've been in charge of a lot of programs where people have gotten new, small energy efficient homes built, old, bad homes torn down. People pay a little something, but it's not like having to pay for a new house. And I think that's about history. So, again, I'm sorry, that's all I can tell you, but yes, we're watching it all carefully because I'm concerned about it. I am. All of us are. All right, we're going to move on to the Community Economic Development Committee. There's 4 items on there, and I don't believe your committee has met. So, are y'all going to, if you don't mind, would you tell us if you going to try to schedule something, or?
We're gonna try to schedule, a meeting before July, but it's no updates, on the Main Street nor the city flags, and with the ordinance, we are still researching.
Okay.
On both, the tiny house and
Yes, ma'am.
the food truck.
Okay. Well, just let us know when you're ready to meet on any of it, and, don't have to deal with all of it when you meet, but whenever you're ready to meet. The 2 ordinances particularly need to be looked at as soon as possible, and, see what we need to do there. Thank you. Ways and Means, Councilmember Henderson, y'all did have a meeting.
We did, and we have 3 items listed. Mayor, if you would briefly give us an overview on number 1.
Money's still tight. But as I said, I think we're holding our own at the moment, which is some good. Of course, we've got a little new revenue coming in, especially through solid waste. But I have a meeting scheduled with Stevens Inc. They can help us do some review of some of our stuff. I was also asked by the committee to maybe contact UALR. They have a kind of a local government institute that might be able to help us, look at some of our programs, our revenue, any sources that I'm overlooking, or we're overlooking that I've done a good bit of research. I don't think there's a whole lot of places to go for any more revenue other than sales tax. And bonded indebtedness would have to be a sales tax and or property tax, millage. So, but we are trying to research all that stuff and going to get back with the committee. We talked some at their last meeting, just kind of what they wanted to look at, how to do it. So we're trying to recruit some help.
And we did have a study that was done a few years back, and Charlotte was going to pull that information to see if we could utilize any of the data from UALR from the study. So actually, number 1 and 2 will continue to remain on our agenda. And number 3, the tenure bonuses, and we'll add a number 5 under the personnel committee so that we can look at some things that are silent in our City of Warren personnel manager. And actually how it was brought to our attention is in state government, if you leave or if you go from one state department to another, your tenure goes with you. For example, I worked for Workforce Services for 20 years, and I left and went to Department of Human Services. All of my time was merged together. So we want to look at that. If you will note for the Christmas bonuses, it is for part-time and full-time elected officials and city employees. But then when we look at the 10U bonuses, it is for our full-time and not part-time. And just looking at the overall picture with the city of Warren, the only 2 full-time employees that we have is actually the mayor and the city clerk, because our treasurer is part-time. We are part-time. Our city attorney, is
You're
part-time.
referring to elected officials.
Elected officials, yes. So we want to just look at the manual because it's silent and put something in there as it relates former city employees or full-time, part-time, whatever, just spell it out so that there's no, so that it's in the manual and we can go by the personnel policy. And when you follow personnel policy, then there are no issues. Now, having said that, you do have in your packet the 10-year bonus pay for this calendar year. And we have apparently 4 employees that have 20 years and over. And they are listed on the second sheet of the handout. We have 0 employees with 15 years or over, 10 employees with 3 years or more.
No,
Three
with 10 years or more.
That's what I
Okay,
said.
I'm you said the other way around, I'm sorry.
No, 3. And then we have 10 employees with 5 years or more. And the total is $8,700, the FICA $665.55, and retirement $1,332.84. I move that the 10-year bonuses for 2025 in the amount of $10,688.39 be paid as listed with the employees that are full-time and those elected officials. The mayor did not want an increase as it related the elected official increase, and actually both mayors, the previous one prior to Mayor Reed, have declined the bonus as well. That is my motion.
This includes all the full-time people that would qualify, and this includes the elected officials? Is that correct? I want to make sure I'm clear.
Full-time elected.
Full-time elected officials,
Yes.
I got you, okay. Minus the mayor.
That's your call.
That's, I'm not, I don't, that's correct, that's my call, so I appreciate that.
And just for informational purposes, and I know we have a motion and we don't have a second, I did go back and pull for the last, that I could find, to see who actually received. So we are actually in line now. However, when the committee review it, that may change and we have something in the personnel policy that we can refer back to. But that is my motion.
Okay, let's see if we got a second. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Councilmember Atkins seconds the motion. Now it's open for discussion.
And please ask any questions. I did go back, I looked at the, that was not a topic in the personnel policy. So therefore, we did not update anything that was not already in our policy. When the question came up as it related, individuals leaving, coming back, as it related full-time, part-time, none of that is in our City of Warren manual. So it's silent. Now, the council can approve and add or even subtract if you elect to do so. But it would have to be the council actually doing it. But this is what we have done historically. And I went back, I actually found 6 of them. And there's more somewhere in a box, but I actually found 6 of them.
So,
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, just during that meeting, you know, I brought up that we have one employee that was left and came back, that still would be 25 or 20, in this one, so that wouldn't be included, or we'd have to make a change, or what?
We would have to add that person, to this.
So would that be a policy change, or would that,
It would be the council making that decision.
Can I
Because
make one?
it's silent.
Let me make one comment here. This does not have to be part of the personnel policy. The city of Warren ordinances do not guarantee a bonus every year.
It does.
It does not. I mean, in no way. I'm not saying I'm opposed to it, I'm just saying it don't do that. This started being done a number of years ago in different ways because we were trying to help we didn't get as much raises as we wanted to, or any raises, so as we had the money, we were trying to give mid-year bonuses, basically, to try to help everybody financially. That's what traditionally has been done. Every year is a new year on this. It's what the city council determines, not only the amount,
That is correct.
but
That's what we're gonna
who
look at.
should get it. Y'all can decide that every year. There's no ordinance or no policy, certainly in the personnel policy, and I'm not sure there should be in personnel policy. This is finances. This is
If
not.
you're gonna do bonuses, I think you probably should list something under bonuses, if you're gonna have bonuses.
That's a every year thing under a different year's budget. Now, you can certainly do that if you want to put something in there, if you're gonna do it. But be careful not to lock yourself into something that you may not have the money to do a year down the road
that's
or
what I was
whatever.
thinking. If we put it in the policy and say we choose not to offer any tenure pay, because we got tenure pay bonuses, we have Christmas bonuses, this isn't, if it's in the policy, we need to put in there that we have,
If funds are available.
we have the choice to take it out.
Yes.
But you've gotta make a decision every year on
Right.
this. This
It
is
has
not,
to be voted up or down every year, but however, the question came up, and there was nothing in the personnel policy that actually referenced it. So if you have something there.
Right.
Career bonuses is listed for state employees. The governor has agreed 3% for those exceptional and 1% for those that meet expectations. I mean, but it doesn't mean that she is going to give it to state employees every
Right.
year.
It's just there in case.
Yes, yes.
Because the
And this can be amended, I mean, I don't know how many people would fall within where it says you left and you came back and you're merging, I really have no idea.
Right.
You know, so we can amend this and add whomever the council who makes the decision whomever you want to add to.
Right. You know, when I asked that question, it was just like, so who, I mean, and you know, it's not just the one that I mean, because I'd been looking at the number of years. But there has to be employee, there's one right there, left and came back.
well, you've gotta.
You're an elected official, but you left and came back.
And don't mix elected officials up into the regular employees. I mean, you know, you can do it however you want to do it. I'm not saying that.
But for this, it's one and the same,
Yes.
I would think,
For example,
right?
elected officials don't get holiday pay or anything, or overtime pay or anything like that.
Well, in the policy,
Full-time elected officials do.
in the policy that Charlotte sent,
Who's getting overtime as elected
No,
officials?
not overtime, but you get holiday pay.
Yes, but that's again because y'all vote to do it.
That's exactly right.
Y'all vote to do it. All I'm saying is don't put yourself in a corner in your personnel policy when you've got to deal with this every year anyway. But I understand, your committee will talk about all that, look at what y'all think's best to do. But, I'm sorry, let's get other discussion
And,
here.
I mean, I have no idea who else, you know,
would come and win or have out.
I can think of one police
Well, I see
officer.
a name, I see a name that's not on here, and that's Thomas Miller.
All right, now let's not start talking about personnel, individual personnel people in the public meeting.
Right.
I'm just gonna tell you, there is, well, I was thinking of one, there may be somebody else, and I'm
Okay, then
forgetting
I
that.
would-
That's talking about not being promoted or changed, but.
I withdraw my motion. Will you withdraw your second and let us come meet to discuss? Because you're saying now that there's probably more than the one that we heard when we.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I remember
Will you withdraw
more.
your?
I withdraw my second.
Okay.
Okay,
all right, thank
that's
you.
appropriate. You
Okay,
can
and we'll-
withdraw your motions.
Okay, and there was no additional business, no other action. That is my report.
Thank you, ma'am. I did want to say, I understood fully what you were saying previously about, policies at the state level, people move from one department to the other, but what I was thinking about was exactly what Ms. Hooper just mentioned there about, we've got at least one I can think of, and I may be forgetting somebody without checking, that physically left the city's employment and then came back later. And the question is, do they just basically keep their seniority? That's basically what you're saying, or do they start over again? Now, that's the kind of thing that probably
And the
does
personnel
need to
manual
be.
is silent. It doesn't say.
No, it doesn't say anything,
No,
which again means you can do whatever you,
whatever the
See
council
fit to do.
decides to do. Correct. But it really, we should have something there so that at least it would give some guidance. That is my.
okay, thank you all, I appreciate it, I know y'all need
We'll bring
to
it back next month.
discuss that a little bit. And, so, that's not dead, it's still there, on the agenda.
And Mayor, would you please research those that would fall within the category of having left?
Having left and
Yes.
come back, yes ma'am, I'll be happy to.
Thank you so much.
We'll be happy to. I don't think it's gonna be a bunch, but, there could be.
Surely there's more than one.
Well, that's possible. I may be forgetting somebody. Well, now that you say that, I can think of one other already.
See?
All right, you're making me think, so I got you. We'll check that
And
out.
again, we cannot go back into any other calendar year. We have to work within the year that we're working.
That's correct. That's correct. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, let me try to wrap things up here. It's been a good meeting, though, to cover a lot of things that need to be reported on. So not only the city council knows, but the folks that are, gonna be listening to this and watching it and know what's going on with the city. Reports, and business of boards and commissions, Parks and Recreation, there is no, they haven't met since the last meeting, but they will be. Planning Commission is not met, Aviation Commission, Water and Sewer, you do have their minutes, this is just for your information. You've also got their financial reports from last month. Housing Authority I think they were meeting today, so we didn't have any minutes, but we'll have them next month for you. Cultural Center, you just got the little financial report on it, no activity. Unfinished business, nothing, new business. Now this brings up this resolution that we've got here. Y'all will look at that. This deals with one of our grants that I mentioned earlier. This is a grant for the Cultural Center. Now, we've just kind of pulled some numbers out of the hat here because we still don't have everything put together, but they're telling us to go ahead and get the resolution, which will, gives us some authority to put the application together. This is required by this is a state grant. This would be proposed resolution A703. And A703, just allow me to read this, and then y'all can take whatever action you see fit. Resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Warren, Arkansas to apply for a grant on behalf of the city of Warren. Whereas Warren City Council determined the city meets eligibility requirements necessary to apply for a grant under the Arkansas Community Assistance Grant Program. Whereas the city of Warren has presented plans, which we'll have to do, to remodel the Warren Cultural Center, whereas the City Council of Warren recognizes the need for the project, concurs with its importance, supports the city in its efforts to proceed with the same, and whereas the City of Warren has furnished proof they can raise, now, don't everybody have a stroke here, I'm saying we're gonna come up with in-kind or money of $160,000 if we get the grant. We'll have to figure out how to do that, but I gotta have it in there. Through community cash and or in-kind donations to be applied to the project as a local match. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor of the city of Warren is hereby authorized on behalf of the city of Warren to submit an application for formal request to the Arkansas Economic Development Commission for purpose of securing state grant funds in the amount of $800,000. That would be the grant amount. That's our estimate. Actually, I jacked it up a little bit because that estimate was over. To aid and assist the city in executing the proposed project described herein, that the mayor of Warren, Arkansas is further authorized to administer the grant funds for the same project.
Move that we adopt resolution A703.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Is there any question or discussion? Now, I have not committed you to $160,000 of city money
It says
here.
and are in kind, and we're looking at in kind.
We're looking at everything. Question or discussion of the motion? All in favor, show of hands, please, in favor. 5 in favor, that's and with 1 absent. So thank you all, that takes care of that. Now we got a couple of things. You got a deal here that says we have the following equipment to be sold with your permission. You see it says a 2010 Vermeer chipper. Those are all sanitation pieces of equipment. Rob is recommending that all these be put up, auctioned off, sold. There's equipment we're not using. We don't need to insure it. We need to get rid of it, and I just need your permission to do that.
I move that we move forward.
Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
I think Councilmember Burks Frazier just barely eased out on the second. Question or discussion? All those in favor? Show of hands. 5 in favor. All right, the next one that's going to look like the very same thing in front there, but there's a Dodge Ram. That's a street department piece of equipment. So I wanted to just make sure y'all understood why both of them look the same, but it's Monty's recommending we get rid of this.
I move we move forward.
Second.
Motion second by the same two. Okay? Question or discussion on this motion? All in favor, show of hands. I see 5 in favor. Thank you. Well, that's routine, but we have to do that to get rid of the equipment. Now, announcements. I don't think I got to remind everybody, but Pink Tomato Festival is basically, it started Saturday with some beauty pageants and stuff, but it's really going to be rolling this week, so remind y'all of all of that. Arkansas Municipal League Convention is next week. For those of you who are planning on going, if you need anything, please let us know up here at the office. Make sure you're registered if you're going and all that stuff. I think most of you have taken care of that. And then I wanted to remind everybody and the public that June the 19th, of course, is the Juneteenth celebration. It is a city holiday. And so this office, municipal building, will be closed June the 19th. In observance of the holiday, there will be no trash pickup that day. Just the information. Now you got the bills. You got a copy of the bills for May of 2025. Motion's made by Councilmember Henderson, seconded by Councilmember Hooper to pay the bills. Is there any question on any of these bills? About a cool $712,000 worth. Any question or discussion on anything?
All for the vote.
All in favor, show of hands. I see 5 in favor. Mr. Claycomb, thank you for being here tonight. Didn't need you for anything particular, but we're sending you a lot of stuff, so we'll be doing that. But we appreciate you being here. In case we ran into something we did need legal advice on. And if you'll notice, the July meeting is set, the agenda meeting is set for the 10th, 7 a.m. The regular meeting would be the 14th of July at 5:30. I want to throw this out at y'all one more time. Y'all keep turning me down on this, but I know that agenda meeting day or maybe time is causing some difficulties for some of you, especially this time of year. Now, because of work or different things, I just want to remind you, you can change that every month. I mean, that's not set in stone legally. You can set the agenda meeting for whatever time you want to set it. It's just got to be somewhere close to the council meeting date. Does anybody have any desire to consider that?
we can move it up to 6.
Oh, no.
Look, Charlotte's
That-
walking out the door.
That did not seem to go over very well, so I will not accept the motion. Even my secretary is shaking her head no. Now, you know what? I'll bet you Councilmember Henderson would be here if it was 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I
She
start
would be
working
here,
by
but she gets up.
5:30.
I was just picking a job.
I do.
Do y'all have any desire, or you just want to go with it because, you know, we're not, and I know things happen, but we're not getting 100% attendance, but things happen, no matter when you have it, that's gonna happen sometime, but just wanted to,
Leave it as is.
okay.
We'll rough it.
Having said that, no further business, council meeting is adjourned. Thank y'all. Thank y'all very much, all of you.
Take care, Rob.
See ya.